Good evening, Bucks fans. We are back. It is Real Bucks Talk here on a Monday, a Buccaneers victory Monday, as well as they defeated the Colts 38-31. I'm your host, Michael Plus, joined as always my co-host Mark Ramirez, and we are live on Bucks Report and also the Pigskin Podcast Network. Mark, what a game that was. First, let's just initial thoughts and how are you doing this evening?
Doing great. I mean, everyone's great after a Buccaneer victory, right? And so my initial thoughts, I guess we shouldn't be live um, when the Bucks are playing because yeah, they started off pretty trashy, and we saw every second of it, and then all of a sudden we get off and they start scoring. Maybe we won't be doing this going live every Sunday whenever they're playing, but I mean it was still fun to see and still fun yet crappy to see because we see the Buccaneers offense sputtering at first, and then all of a sudden they catch fire. Lenny does no wrong in any way. Gronk getting wide open on why the hell is he wide open? Who the hell knows? But I mean, the offense started working, the defense turnover after turnover, special teams making special plays, a lot of exciting like just times in that game, and which resulted in a 38-31 victory, edge of your seat type of game. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was just it was a fun game. Obviously, some frustrating times as a Bucks fan, but they made some just miraculous plays, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Shaq Barrett with a huge, turnover with the sack strip, recovering the fumble, and then Antoine Winfield, my goodness, made maybe the play of the year with that, mossing Michael Pittman Jr.
For real.
And it was pretty iconic that you see Antoine Winfield Jr. going up against Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman Jr., the son of Michael Pittman, who played for the Bucs, and then Winfield Jr., obviously picking him off. So that was pretty awesome to see. But yeah, the game overall, I thought, we talked about it was going to come down to turnovers, and that was really what it came down to. And it was just a great gutsy effort by the Bucks to rally and get the victory.
Another thing, we made them one dimensional. I mean, we pretty much took away Jonathan Taylor the entirety of the game, besides like BA said, one drive, and they made them pass. I know Wentz caught us on a couple, but that was a lot of misassignments from the secondary. But boy, did they make up for it. I mean, you get a team that wants to run the ball, having to throw with high volume. There's going to be mistakes. That's not what they want to do. You're getting out of their norm, right? And resulted in Bucks getting some hands on some balls. Winfield looking like a freak out there. Loved it. I've been hyping him all off season, and it's starting to come to fruition. I love it.
Mhm.
They bring that jersey out more. Just great effort play by him too. It's 6'5" against 5'9". Insane,
Yeah.
insane. Just, I mean, a whole lot of effort all around on defense. I mean, loved how they were getting around it. And then Scotty Miller on special teams, I thought that was awesome, recovering
Mhm.
that fumble, and they just kind of crumbled on that. But
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was you know, obviously the Bucks started slow. We didn't have any points in the first quarter. It was 3-0 after one, and you thought, okay, the Bucks are, defensively they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Offensively, obviously need to find some type of spark. And then in the second quarter, it seemed like they started to do some things. Obviously, put up some points there before half, and then obviously Indianapolis they caught fire with the 21 points. But you got to give the Colts some credit. They made adjustments. They understood they weren't going to run the football against us. I mean, no one does, and they started to pass, and it was the right call. And they started making plays downfield, and obviously getting matchups where some of our guys were just not in positions to make plays, whether it's not being in the right assignment or going after a different player because they're trying to be aggressive. And the Colts just found us in those bad positions and took advantage.
yeah, they were executing. There were some
Mm.
times where it's just pure execution.
Yeah.
If one guy's one area, there's a missing gap somewhere else, attack it, and they did it.
Mhm.
Let's look at the chat room real quick. So this is kind of funny. So Wesley Sullivan was actually part of our live during the
Mhm.
game. He was talking it up, but it was his favorite game of the season. Bud Campbell is saying Vita Vea is pure grit based on losing a tooth. and still not getting a hands to the face call, even though his helmet is off of his face, and a
Mhm.
guy lunges his helmet into his mouth and he loses a damn tooth, still doesn't get a call. And with that said, let's, you know what, let's bring old Vita Vea up. Let's go take a peek at Vita Vea. What happened to Vita?
Look at Vita Vea here. Oh, he lost it.
It's awesome. Look at it.
Oh, my best part.
That's the epitome of Vita Vea right there. The epitome of
Mhm.
Vita Vea. Like, he cracks me up.
Yeah, and Vita started the game off really, really great as he, made some tackles for loss. He was, dominating when he was in there, and obviously they limited his snaps because they didn't want to rush him, back too soon or too fast. But when he was in the game, he was obviously making an impact, whether it's losing a tooth or just fighting through double teams and making things happen. So yeah, definitely gotta love that guy as he is. I mean, he's just like
Yeah.
Bud said, he's pure grit, he's tough. He's a football player.
And he's just so happy to be on the field. It's
Mhm.
funny. A guy just tossing people around, just having fun.
Yeah.
Uh, TB12 Goat Man. A win is a win, not pretty. Brady started slow. Defense gave up plays, but also made plays. So that's something I want to kind of talk about because we're
Mhm.
talking about it with some of the people on Twitter about a win is a win. Yes, you're 100% right. Brady did start slow, and that's what I want to talk about. Like how we're big on complementary football, 11 working as one, and then just in general, the team working as one. So in the second half, they capitalized nonstop. If there was a turnover by the defense, offense made up for it. Okay, oh, you gave us a short field, let's do it. Well, what's sad to say is Brady started slow, but if we didn't have some of these short fields, we weren't moving the ball at all. I mean, that last drive where Fournette ended up scoring the touchdown, that was a lot of Fournette effort. Yeah, Brady made the decision, but our offense is upsetting. Give credit to the Colts. They executed a lot on defense. There was a lot of plays where Brady just had to throw it away or throw it to the sideline. But our offense needs to do better. I mean, don't give me the crap of, oh, AB's not there now. There's always going to be an excuse. It was Gronk wasn't there. Now AB's not there. Wait until they come back. We shouldn't be waiting for certain guys to come back.
Mhm.
Loaded all across the field. The offense needs to execute better. I mean, I know they put up 38 points, but still, like, you shouldn't go goose egg in one quarter. This shouldn't happen. You shouldn't start in a hole like that. Or do you want to touch on that more?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is you start the game with a 3 and out, and that's something that, should never take place with this offense, especially the first drive of the game. Those are scripted plays. You should be able to have the right plays that are gonna work against a defense that you studied all week, and you should be able to have some success on that first drive, especially with the talent level that we have. So that has to be better. Coming out of the gate here, you got to put up points and start at least move the football and change the possession or the field. Change the field territory, like put it in your favor. And yeah, it's just you run the ball, you get 4 yards on first down, and then you throw an incomplete pass to Gronk, um, and then you miss Mike Evans on the mesh route. So just little things like that. It's got to be better. You just can't have the sleepy start that it looks like in the first quarter.
And people were saying, "Oh, well, they're a fumble away from scoring." Well, there shouldn't be a fumble. I mean, it's clearly like you're trying to fight for extra yards. Just get the hell down. I mean, that's a mental error. That's a mental mistake. Like Evans popping the ball in the air
Mhm.
uh, against the Giants, allowing them to make it a close game when it should have never been a close game.
Yeah.
You don't need to have these mental lapses, especially against good teams. And I mean, it just needs to clean up. I mean, we've been saying it almost every week now. Games like this, they shouldn't be close. I mean, yeah, the Colts are a good team, especially at home. But I mean, you put yourself in this hole and you're making it more stressful on yourself. And you're expecting the defense to hold a team that's great at running. Okay, yeah, you're great at stopping the run, but you can't keep up nonstop expecting goose egg, just for your offense to get a whole quarter, 15 minutes to understand what the hell it's supposed to do. I mean, that
Mhm.
cannot happen. You need to be prepared from the jump, not from 15 minutes in. That's a big issue to me.
No, I agree, and you look at what defenses are doing, and the Bucks should understand now, like, okay, defenses are just they're dropping. They are dropping back into coverage. They're maximizing with 8 guys, barely rushing, 4 or more. The Colts, did some blitzing, but it wasn't heavy. They're gonna drop back. So with that said, you have to utilize the draws, the run. You have to utilize your screen game, your east and west, mesh and drag routes, stuff like that to hit him underneath because it was open. So got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they hit Brate for one little screen.
Mhm.
Fournette was open all day under there. I believe they were saying Fournette has more catches than Mike Evans has on the season. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's a viable option. Don't force the deep ball. I mean, like the near interception that Brady had in the first quarter. I mean, I feel like they force it a lot. I mean, this is part of their scripted thing. So let's push it.
Mhm.
Well, when we start reading, okay, people are flying back. Some of this is Brady's decision. He's got to kind of check it down early. Just forget about it. But I mean, this is also where I say it coincides with someone was saying the offense. It's not the offense's fault that the defense is messing up. Yes, you're right. The defense has to worry about themselves. But if they're out there, 3 and out, get back out there. 3 and out, get back out there.
Mhm.
You're starting to wear yourself down. You're giving the other team so many more opportunities. And you guys aren't doing anything. Like
Mhm.
there's only a limited amount of snaps you are on the field. And with the amount of talent you have, that's my biggest point. You got to be able to help your defense out. You're supposed to be the ones that carry us. And
Yeah.
it's an injury rule defense. You're asking them, no, keep doing your job. Keep going. Keep giving me big goose egg on the road. I mean, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's about being efficient and let's give, to that being said, let's give the offense credit. They were efficient in the second half, granted,
And
because
that's
of the defense was also efficient by creating turnovers when they needed to and helping the offense. So again, it plays that part where it's complementary football, guys working together. But really, the offense, my biggest thing with the offense is they need to find ways to get their best players in position more to have more opportunities. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, those guys need to be, big factors in the game. And I understand that they're taking away pressure from Gronk and opening him up, obviously, with 7 catches, 123 yards. That is great, but you have to find ways to get more high percentage plays underneath where it can lead to more yak yards and stuff like that. And obviously the big play that they love is the screenplay to Godwin, but you got to do some different things where you mix it up and be a little bit more creative and get others involved as well.
I wholeheartedly agree. And we do agree a lot on this live stream or podcast. And I mean, look at Tom Brady's numbers. He didn't have that big of a day. 226 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. So something is off with the passing game right now. And we're supposedly this high, just what's it called? Not running gun, no risk it, no biscuit. 226. Brady's had that in like damn near a quarter and a half before. So
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
it goes to what defenses are doing against us. They're pretty much taking away intermediate and deep shots because they're going to play back, and they're really forcing guys to, they're forcing Tom to dump it underneath. That's why you're seeing Leonard Fournette get so many catches. So with that being said, the Bucks got to find a way to get other guys moving east and west and get these guys out of their zones and incorporate more level concepts where they're moving and dictating where this zone coverage is going to be, so that way they can exploit other areas of the field. I think that's the biggest thing that they have to do going forward. And obviously, a commitment more to your running game. I know
oh,
Leonard
yeah.
had 17 carries yesterday. I think Rojo had what, 7?
Mhm.
And he was running the ball well. Both of them were over 5 yards a carry. That shows you that teams are letting us run the ball. They're not playing heavy boxes. They're playing a lot of 6-man boxes. And to give the credit to the Bucks O line and the run game and how they were working it, I loved it. I love getting the guys moving east and west and getting some outside runs. Obviously, didn't work at first in the first half, but in the second half, it really opened up
Mhm.
because they were starting to run the ball inside and then move it outside. So there's options there. They just need to do that more consistently. That way it can open up your play action, because if those safeties start creeping in, you get those one-on-one matchups. And
Definitely.
and they had it with Scotty Miller. Unfortunately, I look back at that play. Scotty didn't run a great route. He should have stayed on the outside. And the corner did a great job of pushing him back inside. And it was a great play for that interception. But I'd like to see, Scotty obviously run a little bit better there. But, it all starts with just mixing it up and taking what is available underneath more. So that opens up your intermediate game.
And I forgot who mentioned it earlier. It was saying like the playoff. I don't know if they were mentioning playoff Lenny. Oh yeah, love Lenny's game. But it was something mentioning about the playoffs. Forgive me for not finding it, guys. But like when teams are allowing you to run like this, 5.9, 5.3 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns in total, almost 150 yards rushing, do it. Keep doing it. And then, like you just said, when they start creeping up with a safety, holy crap, these guys are getting 5 yards per carry, damn near 6. We got to do something to slow it down. Then you attack. There's no force feeding this thing. You have so many weapons, use them. Your offensive line is good. Whether your fans say it or not, it is good. And north and south. Just go north and south. And then when they start clogging that, then go outside. Or get pretty by sending Evans or Chris Godwin out wide, or do those quick screens when you start seeing it clog in the middle. Be
Mhm.
creative. Start utilizing your guys better. That's what we kind of talk about a lot. And you just mentioned a lot. You just got to be smarter with the way you use these guys. And you can't complain about personnel. There's one guy out and there's 5 other guys out there. So
Yeah.
I hate that excuse. That's it.
Yeah,
On to the
and going to more of the positives again, there were still a lot of positives, and the positive was the run game, the offensive line, and kudos to Nick Leverett, who, first time in there as an NFL player and played pretty well. I mean, he had maybe one mistake where it was a false start at the end of the game, but other than that, he was pretty good. He allowed, I think, one pressure to DeForest Buckner that ended up in a sack, but I mean, he played pretty well, and the whole offensive line I thought did a great job. So that was really great to see as they continue to be the consistent part of this team. I think for the most of the season they've been really good. So that's a great positive.
Yeah, and that is a scary thing. You're down to your third guard. And I mean, even Brady kind of mentioned, he's like, hey, it's nice that he stepped in. You could tell he wasn't like really positive about it. But I
Yeah,
mean, either way, he did his job. All right. It wasn't,
right.
may have not been pretty at some points. DeForest Buckner's one hell of a defensive tackle.
Yeah,
So he did what he did. Ali Marpet, hopefully the oblique gets better faster.
yeah. Hopefully he can come back. I mean, the positive with Ali, he hasn't gone on IR yet, so that's good news, and hopefully he can return within the next couple weeks here.
Because it sounded like Cindy's injury wasn't that good. Like they weren't hopeful on that one.
No, it
Uh,
looks like he might be going to IR because it's a knee injury and doesn't look like it's a good one.
but let's get some other people in the chat. So Pewtercast is here, right? Brent,
Hey, Brent.
Brent's in the chat. Krillin here as always. Love seeing you in. Eric, hi everyone. Hello. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, they're just kind of harping about what I went on a rant about.
Yeah, we both did. I mean, obviously, we just want better execution from the offense. But again, there were still a lot of great things. I think the offensive line and obviously Rob Gronkowski is back. I mean, he made I think the play of the game besides Antoine Winfield's pick was that 3rd and 8. I mean, if we don't get that first down with Gronk, breaking tackles and fighting his way forward, we don't get the first down there, I don't think we win the game. So that was huge, making that play. And it was a great adjustment by Brady. He audible to the screen to Gronk, and it worked out. And great block by Scotty Miller as well, to hold his guy. And also I think Godwin was in there. So yeah, kudos to Gronk. But again, there's still positives from the offense. I know the first half needs to be better. And going this week against Atlanta, maybe they can, get that first quarter, bad vibes out there and get it out of the way.
Yeah, but this is the part of complementary football I talk about. I mean,
Mm.
with you, if you scored 38 points, you would assume someone had crazy numbers. There wasn't that big of a crazy number. I mean,
Right.
besides Fournette going 4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy. I mean, but look at the yards. You would think you're going up and down the field nonstop. There
Mhm.
wasn't that much. He barely got to 100. This is his first 100-yard game of the season.
Yeah.
So that was a credit to your defense getting turnovers. The offense needs to be more dominant like they should be. There's no way to say there's a weakness on the team. It's
Right.
more of a lack of execution. It's something we kind of mentioned, Tom Brady mentioned. We just got to get back to efficiency with the ball, run the ball more, and a lot more things will start happening because they did that in the playoffs. And good things happen.
Well, I'll ask you this. I mean, and I'll ask the chat as well. When was the last time the Bucks offense had 4 rushing touchdowns? I mean, that seems long time ago. I just don't remember them having 4 rushing touchdowns. But again, that's another positive. What?
Those Dungy days, I feel.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it just seems like it's been so long since we had 4 rushing touchdowns, and so again, that's great to see inside the 5. We're running the football well, and making things happen with our backs. And then I love the passing touchdown to Lenny as well. I love that setup where they have the 2 tight ends go out as a little, pick play and have Lenny run underneath. So that was really cool to see.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were a lot of good things. It's the
Mhm.
execution. And they do some awesome concepts. It's the timing on it,
Yeah.
catching, holding on to it, don't fumble. Little things like that ruin drives or ruin momentum.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people are analytical. You are. I bring a little bit of both into it,
Yeah,
and
I
it
love
makes
passing the ball on first down. If we pass the ball on first down, I'm so excited with that. Um, that is that's a huge thing. I think passing on first down is so big. But I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue.
I don't know, I mean, yes, I agree with your assessment of passing on first down because it makes that second down so much more questionable. What's it going to be? Is it going to be a quick pass? Is it going to be a deep pass? Because now they have a shortened gain, or do they just run a little quick draw? I mean, you don't know. So it gives it so much more opportunities to do because the defense has nothing to game plan for.
Mhm.
But yeah, but so someone said Muscle Hamster probably in Oakland was the last time I had 4.
Yeah, that might be a good call. I think
Thanks for
he. Yeah, I think he did. He had a lot of. I know he had a lot of yards. I don't know if he had 4 touchdowns, so I can't remember. Pretty sure he had a lot of touchdowns, probably.
insane amount of yards. So
Yeah. But it just seems like it was just a weird stat to see that, 4 rushing touchdowns by the Bucks offense. It's like just definitely haven't had that with Bruce Arians in town. Obviously that's I think the first one we've done that with. So,
well, let's move over to the defense. Let's give the defense some credit. Yeah, early on, I think we said it like the first 3 drives, they only allowed like 10 yards,
mhm,
which was incredible. And that wasn't sustainable, to be honest.
right.
Then the Colts ended up having a 21-point quarter in the second.
Yeah.
They had these quick splash plays where touchdown. SMB kind of got toasted, expecting safety help. Then they just went on a little drive, dink and dunk. Third down, couldn't get the hell off the field,
Mhm.
and then kind of picked on SMB side again. And then the second half, they just kind of shut it down. Like they
Right.
started getting pressure. Shaq Barrett supposedly yelled at the team on the sideline at halftime, and he shows up with 2 sacks, 1 strip fumble, and he recovered himself, which is
Mhm.
badass. Uh, just everyone stepped in. Everyone, Pierre Desir getting an interception. Like there's hands all over the field. The D line kind of dominated. Not the front 4. It was a little bit of everything. I feel like
Mhm.
in a whole, like the defense did their thing.
Yeah,
What do
I think the defense, they did a lot of good things. Obviously, forcing the 5 turnovers, that was, huge, to their credit. Mike Edwards needs to play all the time, and I love that, he's on the field for nickel situations and again making plays, forcing that fumble in the second quarter, helping the Bucks offense score. And then Shaq Barrett made, the big play because the Colts offense was driving the football. They were about to score again. And, he comes up with that huge sack and getting the fumble. So that was great. And then I think the next possession, Antoine Winfield gets the interception. So just stacking them up, making plays when they had to make plays. Obviously, my only criticism was the 3rd and 15, allowing Carson Wentz to run for that first down. That is something that the coaching needs to understand the situation, understand your personnel, and understand what the Colts are trying to do. So that would have been a good time to, either send in your linebacker to create pressure, or, play some type of zone coverage where you have a QB spy, or make sure you're containing that pocket so they just dump it off quickly and you come up and tackle. So they got to get back to that. I think that's the only thing that's missing from this defense is getting that quick pressure to make the quarterback force that decision and come up and rally and tackle, right? Instead of trying to maximize coverage and leave your corners on an island a little bit, or your safeties in that indecision of coming up and playing zone or something like that. So got to get back to forcing that quick pressure and just make the tackle.
They do that on like every damn third down.
Yeah.
Drop back, drop back. I mean, on that particular play, I think we talked about this. If Devin White's on the field, that probably doesn't happen. He
Right.
erases it immediately. Kevin Minter was probably on the opposite side of the field, not knowing what the hell's going on. Sometimes he just doesn't know. Even though he does make great run stopping plays, coverage is just not there. But Devin White is a whole other animal. We can't rely on him to save you every time. There needs to be assignment sound football. I agree with that. And the coaching kind of goes into that. Can't rely on one guy to be a Superman.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Yes. What were we going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, 3rd and 15, it's not the right time to play, 2-man. You're playing man coverage across the board with 2 safety high. That's not the time to do that. Just if you're going to play coverage, zone it out and keep everything in front of you. Make sure you have someone, underneath. If the quarterback decides to run, you can go chase him down, or, have someone there. Yeah, Sue did try to get him, but Sue is Sue. He's not going to catch up with Carson Wentz. I mean, almost did.
He's trying so damn hard too.
Give him credit, but yeah, it's just got to be better. And Mark talked about it yesterday. I mean, Shaq Barrett did get tackled. That doesn't help. So, yeah, just little things like that though have to be cleaned up. I feel like too many times we've allowed 3rd and longs, and that's something that will definitely hurt you come playoff time, especially when you're going up against better teams.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever get flags on our defensive line, even though they're getting tackled, getting hit in the face.
We only get we only get flags when Vita Vea doesn't play. For whatever reason, it seems like if he's in there, they're not going to call anything. So
sad.
Yeah,
just mauling other guys. They feel bad for them, I guess.
Right.
But I just wanted to kind of show this. This was right after the half. So there's that fumble you were mentioning.
Yes.
Right there. And then what happens? We could score a touchdown, complimentary. What happens right after that? Boom. Antoine Winfield, interception. What happened after that? Touchdown. Bucs take the lead.
Yeah.
Look how quickly that happened right after the half.
Right.
It's insane. That's a total different.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go to the first half too, I mean, you'll see. I think we scored off of their. If you go, where is it? Where the fumble is, go up, all the way to the top. Yeah, when the Colts fumbled, yeah, we scored right after that. So, it's all helping each other. And give the defense credit. I mean, with the personnel now, we can talk about personnel for the defense because they're missing a lot of players.
Right.
Jamel Dean goes out early in this game. That hurts your game plan. Because if he's in there, that probably changes the game. You can match up more with him and Sean Murphy Bunting and have a little bit, I think you can play it differently. Same with Carlton Davis not in there. That hurts your defense a ton, because he's the best corner. He's one of the best corners in the league. So obviously that changes how you play defense. Devin White goes down early in the game, can't blitz as much. That hurts. So when you're talking about personnel defensively, it's has a bigger impact because it matters who's out there, for your defense.
That's something we talked about. Like offensively, it's not a personnel issue. It's a play calling and execution issue.
It's sequencing. Yes.
Like all the it's not. Yeah, it's just not a player issue. You have the players.
Right.
You can't
Yeah,
complain.
you have the best player in Tom Brady, and that's what you need for an offense to be successful. I mean, you look at these other teams; they don't have a Mike Evans, a Chris Godwin, a Gronk, a Leonard Fournette, Rojo, OJ Howard, et cetera, et cetera. They don't have that, and they don't have one of the best offensive lines in the league, which we do. So you can't talk about personnel when you're talking offensive scheme for this team. It shouldn't be an excuse. This offense should be able to produce consistently. Defensively, they have to do what they do, and that's force turnovers because that's the kind of defense that they're going to play. But it also matters who is out there because if you don't have your top three corners, I mean that's going to hurt any defense. And you have you have JPP with one arm out there. He can't even lift his left arm, so it's like it hurts. You got to have some players, on defense, especially when those players matter and dictate the scheme that you're trying to run.
And that's something we kind of touched on in the live stream with Robert Greene. I mean, you're taken away when you have your top three corners taken away. Then you have to deal with injuries in your defensive line, the inconsistencies of them going in and out. Devin White, your fastest linebacker, they erase his plays because of his speed. And yet there's still moments where they look dominant, where they force turnovers like this. That's a scheme. That's a coaching doing its job. And then doing it the most it can with the players it has. That's what we want to see on offense. That's it. That's what the complementary stuff we talk about. It's not. They're not the same. One is injury riddled. The other one is loaded and has everything you want. It's just not showing up consistently how it should. But at the end of the day, we won the damn game.
Yeah, and they scored 30 points for the first time on the road this season. And you got to look at last season. The Bucs had 4 times they scored 30 points or more on the road. So, maybe this point outbreak this week will help them be better on the road going forward, as it should. You're going up against Atlanta coming up this Sunday. That should be a great opportunity for this team to continue momentum and get, rolling here as we get closer to, the postseason. But guys, with that said, as we hit the halfway mark here, just want to thank you all for joining us. Appreciate the likes and the thumbs up. Again, this is Real Bucs Talk. We're live on Bucs Report, also the Pigskin Podcast Network. Be sure to check us out. Give us a subscribe if you haven't, and continue those likes and comments. We much appreciate it.
And a hot topic in the chat right now. First of all, I give credit to Rich0665. Pro Football Reference told us that Doug Martin on 11/4/2012 did have 251 yards and 4 touchdowns. He nailed it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, he had a great game. That was against Oakland, and we almost lost that. Almost lost that one too. Oh my god, it's so funny how Bucs players will have these greatest performances of all time, and the Bucs either win it by an inch, or they'll lose it in some weird fashion. So that's a Bucs life for us.
Right. That, and then also they had the kind of Rojo Fournette talk again.
Right.
Who's faster? Who's the number one guy? Give your 2 cents on that.
Well, I think Lenny has pretty much taken the first spot. I mean, he's pretty much earned it. The way he pass protects, I mean, he kills people on pass protection. I love how he just lays his body out there to block and does a really good job. And his receiving game has become a lot better and it's become reliable. I know he had the one drop yesterday, but for the most part, he's been, just rock solid. And I think that's what they want from the running back position, a guy that can just do everything pretty well, not mess things up, and, keep the chains moving.
That's the biggest thing. Don't mess things up.
Right.
Don't get number 12 on the ground.
Yeah.
Pitch the ball when the ball is thrown to you.
And I kind of like Rojo in his role that he's getting. I obviously you want to see him get more carries, but I like him as a change of pace back, because when he goes in there, you just see that burst. And, obviously it worked yesterday with his ability to get, 10 yards, 12 yards at a time.
And that's just it. I mean, north and south is insane. He's the better true runner than Fournette. I think anyone who listens to our show would know we talk about that. He has more burst. it seems like more strength at the point of attack. Just Fournette, once he actually gets an open field, that's where he's dangerous.
Yeah.
But he tries to get there going wide. Don't do that. Looks like a fool sometimes when he's running laterally.
Yeah.
Rojo just flies around the corner. Like that's if you want to run wide, have Rojo do that. Fournette, don't do that. Just go find a little gap. A gap, B gap, whatever you find, just go into those. Don't go any further than that. But
Yeah.
like that's just what you have and using your guys correctly. Maybe Fournette's trying to read it that wide. I don't know.
Mhm.
Well, let's see. So there's some more talk about that. Rojo is great. Let's see. I was happy Levert played well. Sorry if I murdered his name. No, you got it right. Rojo is great when we are winning in the fourth quarter. He won't hurt us too bad. But that's the thing. So he is a ground and pound like bruiser.
Mhm.
The thing is the confidence holding onto the ball. Don't make a mistake. Do
Yeah.
they trust him in those situations? I think he's done enough, but what do you think?
Well, yeah, I think trust is the biggest thing. And, you look at the game tape yesterday and Rojo was open a couple times in the flat and, Tom doesn't even look his way. So it's trust with Tom. It's trust with the offense coordinator, Byron. And, I think Rojo, again, what his role is right now, I think it's perfect. Mixing him in on some series where he can run the football and I think his role will expand as we get closer to the postseason because, like I said, Bucs need to adjust their offense because teams are playing so much coverage. The run game is going to be there if they want to take it. I think the draw game, the delay runs, outside runs, inside with the tackles, pulling, those kind of things are going to be open. So they just need to take advantage of that going forward. So running backs are going to be needed down the stretch. And, I know people talk about Gio Bernard playing more, but unfortunately, Leonard he's taken over that role. So that's why Gio's not seeing the field.
What I did like though, we talk about running out of the shotgun. Our
Yes.
first touchdown, we run it like stacked box.
Yeah.
Oh, what do they think it's going to be? A run. They stop it. Then we go wide, shotgun set, Fournette right next to Brady, and a touchdown. So just that's play calling. That's utilizing your decoys, who are all those damn targets you have.
Yeah.
It's worry. Brady could be making this decision, and it's an easy run. And Fournette, I don't know why sometimes he just slows down. I don't get it, but either way, it's touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he did that twice yesterday, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Why are you slowing down? Run all the way through into the end zone. Make sure you get in." It's like he stops at the goal line. He's like, "Oh, the ball's over. I'll just stop right here." But yeah, I don't understand it. But again, he had a great game. He did finish on that last run. He did, for sure. He made sure he got in on that one. But yeah, it's something that has improved, and I really like what they're doing in that aspect of running the football. And we talk about running out of shotgun. It's a very key factor, and it makes everyone better.
Absolutely. I
Yep.
mean, we shoot ourselves in the foot how many times we talk about this damn thing. All right, so it's actually a good topic here. Jim Melvin. Our super strength is Evans, Godwin, Gronk, and Brown. If you take that away and turn us into a run screen, long drive team, we become a little more average. So that's the thing. That would say that 1, 2, 3, 4 guys have to go down for that to happen.
Mhm.
I mean, knock on wood, but I mean, realistically, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that would happen to anyone. Again, your top 4 targets go down. Obviously, it would be a little bit less than average usually.
well, I don't
Okay.
I don't think he's talking about injury. I think he's touching on the point I was making, how teams are playing us. They're going to try to take that those 4 guys away, with their coverage and maximize coverage, and that's why I'm talking about emphasizing the run game, emphasizing more of your underneath short options, and yeah, you would have to do longer drives, sure, but if you start that way in the beginning of the game and you execute it properly and get the results, that's going to make the defense shift and change the way they play you, which is going to open up those options downfield in the second half where you can emphasize more play action and get guys, more intermediate crossers and get those big plays that you're looking for. But and that's something to watch for. We'll see how these teams, and not every team is going to, play that way. Some teams are going to be stubborn and they're going to play man coverage. You're going to see that with Atlanta. They're going to be stubborn this week and try to play some man and, mix in some blitzing because that's how their defense plays. And I'm sure the Bucs will have a big game, this week against them.
So thankfully, Plus understood your question better and answered it correctly, and now I can jump off of what he said. But yeah, it's like a chess game. I mean, it's who is impatient first. The Buccaneers are usually very impatient. They just want to score quick, right?
And
No risk.
that's what I saw from Tom Brady yesterday. He just looked impatient.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, take what the defense is doing. Like, if you see the defense stacking one side or shading or playing that far back, you already know what to do immediately. And then if they switch right off the snap, snap, okay, know your reads. And Tom Brady is the best one to know that of all. So, okay, you can cover 3 or 4. I guess he was touching more on his point.
Yeah,
you can cover 3 or 4, but not all 4. Yeah,
right.
That's just it.
And that's why Gronk 8.
123 yards. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And when AB comes back, look the hell out. Full strength. Good Lord. But yeah, like we need to be more patient. I mean, if teams are letting us run all over them, do it. Stop trying to force feed the deep shots. Or I know there's a lot of big names, but none of them are big prima donnas. I mean, Gronk's not that way. Evans isn't. Godwin's not. AB on the Bucs isn't. So
yeah,
hopefully steady as we go. I guess this is one of the talk. This is on Twitter about contracts coming up, running backs, and you were strong to say no. We're talking about Leonard Fournette. This is his last year under contract. Could he get a big contract next year with the Buccaneers? Yes or no?
I wouldn't pay him. I mean, running backs are, and especially in this offense, I don't think the Bucs value running backs. You're a passing team first. As long as Tom Brady's here, the passing game is going to be the most important. And you have an offensive line that is better at pass blocking, even though they've shown they can run block. I mean, obviously they've shown it the last couple of weeks they can do it. But I just don't feel like running back's going to be a huge emphasis, or it should be, because you look at the running backs that are paid in this league. I mean, it's not worth spending big money on a running back, especially when there's just so many other positions that demand more attention and more cap space. So I would look elsewhere to spend that money if I'm a GM.
100% agree. I mean, yeah, Rojo, this is his final year under his contract too. So
yeah, he'll be gone. I don't think
you're starting 2 running backs gone at the end of the year. But I mean, don't worry. There's always an option in the draft. I mean, how many guys do you see every year? I mean, Kenneth Gainwell was one of our favorites this year.
5th round pick.
Yeah. Morrow was like a 3rd round pick. Running backs aren't valued high.
No.
Yeah. You can get a Jonathan Taylor he was a 2nd rounder actually.
Yeah.
Right?
41st. Yep.
So, I mean, you don't have to reach high up in the draft. And Keyshawn Vaughn, you don't know entirely what you have with him. Still a 3rd round pick. Yep. So, I mean, I would not be reaching at all. And I would not be spending at all. I mean, I know Fournette is doing great. You get playoff, Lombardi Lenny, and then you're having this going into the playoffs like this.
I mean, unless Leonard wants to take maybe, I don't know, $4 million or less, then I would maybe consider it. But, obviously he's still young, and, a team might come up with a huge contract, and I would just let him take it. Again, you look at Keyshawn Vaughn. I think Keyshawn could probably do what this offense requires. A guy that could just pass protect, catch the football, and get the necessary rushing yards if needed. Obviously he's had success when he's in with the first team, but again, there still remains to be, more to be seen. And I would just draft another running back. You can, draft a running back or sign a cheap free agent, a veteran. If it's still Tom Brady, you can re-sign Gio Bernard if you want.
Yeah,
You know, so yeah, I don't see the urge to give a Doug Martin contract again. I don't think Jason Light will do that again.
I mean, look at the Patriots. I mean, they just trade running backs away.
And they draft running backs every year. I mean, they hit gold with Stevenson out of Oklahoma. They still have JJ Taylor, who
Love that dude.
he's good, and just got backs galore. Damian Harris was a late, he wasn't a high draft pick, I don't think. I think third, maybe fourth round. So that's where they find running backs. Third, fourth, fifth round. That's where you find guys. Even Jerry McNichols, who didn't work out for the Bucs, but he's still playing. He's a fifth round pick and still having somewhat success.
Titans. Fournette is only 26. I did not even know that. Damn.
Yeah, same age as McCaffrey, and McCaffrey's out for the year now. So
Okay.
it's like, and that's another thing why you don't invest high on running backs, because you just never know. I mean, they're one injury away from their, career being done. You could say that with all positions, but running backs take a beating.
Yeah.
So
Their job is I can't say what I was gonna say. Like, literally, you're just here's a ball. Here you go. Go run into a wall. Like, come on. Like it is what it is. That position just
Mm.
there's a reason why they ask you to kind of bulk up. You think 5'10", 225 is healthy for an individual? But Peter Cass Brent has a question.
Yeah.
O.J. Howard is gone or should be, unless he's super cheap. What's your
Yeah,
take on
I don't think OJ's back either.
I hope.
I mean, you hope it works out, and I feel like OJ will probably he'll probably make some big plays. I'm thinking down the stretch here, as we get in the postseason, but I don't know if he'll come back. It's just and I forget if is he an unrestricted free agent? I have to look that up, and I know they picked up his option, or I'm not sure on that, but yeah, I guess his option was this year, so he's a free agent next year. But yeah, I don't see it likely. And again, tight end's another position that I just don't feel like the Bucs emphasize enough. Obviously, Gronk is Gronk. He's the best tight end of all time. And he'll probably be back as well, I think, if Brady's here. They'll find a way to keep him. But I just feel like the Bucs would rather just have a great blocking tight end that can make some catches here or there.
I mean, I just want him not just based on the potential. There's not even potential. He actually showed he could be something with Brady early on from last year.
Mm.
He had huge catches last year, and then he has the Achilles. And then this year, he had that one little spurt during the Eagles game and hasn't had any targets. Then with AB coming back, it's probably going to be even less. But I think it's just more him getting his legs under him and then being used. I mean, that's part of coaching. Use your guys correctly. He's going to be a mismatch anywhere on the field if you just use him. Put him out wide. Put him and Gronk on one side, see what the hell happens. Like, toy around with other teams. It's funny what you can do and don't really do to the full capacity yet.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with OJ comes to a trust factor. I just feel like the coaching staff doesn't really trust him to be consistent on his assignments, play in and play out. And you can kind of see that with Brady as well. Brady doesn't really look his way consistently. He trusts Cameron Brate more, and obviously Cam Brate's getting more reps and making the plays when he's throwing the ball. So,
and then so some people are talking about Green Bay and the Cardinals, all that about like record wise. Let's kind of quickly go over there.
Cardinals are
9-2.
Yep. And Green Bay is what, 9-3.
9-3. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the Bucs are just a game back of both teams, pretty much. I mean, it's right there. Obviously, who the Cardinals have left to play. I think they play the Rams again, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be interesting. And the Packers probably have I'm not sure what their schedule is, but again, it's really the Bucs control what's in front of them. and they have a great opportunity to win out. We'll see if they can, capitalize on that.
Yeah, someone saying earlier, don't count out the Falcons. Just take it one game at a time. Yes, they should, 100%. But this is a team that they should enforce their will on. To be honest, I mean,
yeah,
this is a team that's can't stop anyone. Can't stop a nosebleed. That's the statement that people use. So offense better tune it up.
yeah,
Put it that way. I mean, they better enforce it and show what the heck they're capable of, because the week after that, it's Buffalo Bills. Don't be thinking about the Buffalo Bills this game. Think about the Falcons.
right.
They do
Yeah,
that.
and the Falcons are not good at home, which is weird, and the Bucs have struggled on the road, so that'll be interesting to see. If the Bucs, hopefully they can start fast, and again, this is a Falcons team that is just, they don't really know their identity. They don't have the pieces on defense. Offensively, the offensive line is suspect, and I think Calvin Ridley's not even on the field. He's hurt or something. So there's a lot of there's a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, and I got some people agreeing with me. Okay, here we go. As Mark said earlier, that the Bucs muck around the first half and ends up as a nail biter.
Yeah.
Usually what it is. The Bucs shoot themselves in the foot. They're beating themselves, and it's a harder game than it should be. But I mean, like, if Carlton comes back, if AB comes back, it makes things a lot easier. Put it that way. You get a whole lot more depth. Maybe it could help. Come back. Yeah, I mean, he could be. He's supposed to be. He said he had a good week of practice last week, so let's see. What's your take on that?
As far as Carlton
coming back,
yeah, Carlton's a huge addition. He changes the way the defense can play, because you can pretty much take one side of the field away with his ability to match up man, and you can play a little bit more zone coverage on the other side, or matchup zone, where you can, just help your defense overall to cover more space and more of the field. And it also helps out your pass rush. So, and I agree. I know I'm looking at the chat here. I agree a lot with Deuce Flex Machina or Machina. I agree. The offense is, they struggle scheming guys open. And that's something that I wish they would do more with Mike Evans, find ways to scheme him open where they're creating separation, and doing more things of that nature. They do it at times. They have plays designed where they do a lot of level concepts and flood, concepts where it works and it looks good. I just wish they would find ways to do it more consistently when they're facing certain types of coverages. It only seems like they only do it a small percentage of the time. But again, you say that a lot when things don't work. So, it can look that way, but when the offense is working, obviously everything, looks great.
It's find your identity. Like, you can't just be a deep throwing the ball team. I mean, if that's taken away, who's your go-to underneath? Who's your go-to in the middle? Like, I mean, there's not much of an identity. It's just throw deep, and then if you don't know what to do throwing deep, okay, we'll just be stagnant for a quarter. It can't be it. It just can't be it.
Yeah, they definitely need to use play action more. They gotta, mix in their level concepts more, and just do a lot more things where, use what's working. You understand, okay, the play action is working, it's creating separation, it's creating space. Utilize that. Utilize what is allowed there to be taken advantage of, and go attack it. I like the attack of, the attack mindset and being aggressive. That's great. You need to have that, especially in the first quarter, to score points. That's the base thing. Go score, get a lead, and help your defense. But you only do that if you're successful, by execution and getting first downs and not punting, on the first drive.
Immediately.
Yeah. And then it's a bad punt to begin with.
God, that was terrible. But actually, I want to touch on this. It was actually kind of playing into your Carlton Davis stuff. So Jeff Goodrich said, any chance you guys think Bowles is playing dumb and holding back for the postseason? Because he elaborated more here. It seems like he's too smart to not realize the scheme is not working. So that kind of plays with your thing of Carlton Davis coming back. You're
Mhm.
limited what you can do with your scheme. And then the players that are in there are either young, don't know how to play it, or coming off of an injury, maybe a step behind, trying to do too much. The
Mhm.
scheme itself works because look what it did with the turnovers. Sometimes it's the lack of awareness by some players or lack of just like knowledge of what's going on in the scheme or knowing where your guys are, where your help is at. So it's not just the coaching, it's the players executing the coaching, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think they're, unfortunately with the personnel, the Bucks are just in between status right now of what they have to play, because they'll try to rush four and maximize coverage, but that's not working because your front four is not winning consistently,
Yeah.
or your coverage is just not there because you're trying to play zones and the offenses are just too good. They're finding the wide open, holes in your defense, or you're trying to blitz and play man and it's not working either because your blitz isn't getting there, or your coverage is just not strong enough on the back end. So there's just a lot of things where it's just in between of what they're trying to do. And it's just, sometimes it's working, obviously, when you're creating those turnovers, but other times there's plays that happen where, you get that deep ball and it's a touchdown, or you find, that soft spot between Anthony Nelson dropping back and Sean Murphy Bunting should be playing his cover three assignment instead of going inside. So, stuff like that.
I get the dropping back, but dropping Anthony Nelson back is a sin.
But
And this
that's the
is
thing, like Anthony Nelson, it wasn't his fault on that
yeah,
play. Sean Murphy's supposed to stay in his assignment and not move from his cover three position where he's guarding that, zone of the end zone. He takes away that tight end, it's no good, so it's all about guys being in their position and playing assignment sound. That's the thing with Todd Bowles' defense. It's communication, communication, communication. Guys have to be in their spot or it's not going to work.
and to that credit, like saying Anthony Nelson dropping back is a sin. But this is what you're asking with this front. I mean, even the announcers were saying it. How many 5 defensive line fronts that we have? Because that's our strength. That was what was working. We're dominating their O-line, making the ball come out fast. The ball has to come out fast. Anthony Nelson's humongous. If he can
Mhm.
get his hand up, he can kinda knock this down. If the rush isn't getting there in time, SMB, that's his spot. I mean, that he had time to roll out and pick him up. Anthony Nelson is not to blame for that touchdown.
Right.
It's other people behind him, and that's part of it. Like Plus said, either rush has to get there and force the issue, which it did with turnovers,
Mhm.
or the secondary has to cover their zones and know where the hell they're supposed to be, so a coverage sack can happen. Sometimes it doesn't work together, and it's like you said, they're in between, based off of injuries, based off of lack of execution or knowing your zones. A
Mhm.
lot of it's got to start clicking, and with people getting healthy, that'll happen.
Yeah, for sure. And to, defend Sean Murphy a little bit, I mean, it just seems like he's trying to do a little bit too much. And that comes with a lot of these guys. We've seen Devin White, he does it often, trying to do too much, play that Superman type role where he gets out of position or, in the wrong spot. So really it's about these guys just focusing on doing their job. And Antoine Winfield said it best, we just started doing our job in the second half and, things worked out. And that's what they have to do for 60 minutes. We've seen it at times when they've done it, obviously against lesser teams, but they got to start doing it against, better offenses and just understand if I just do my assignment, most likely the play is going to be a good result.
Yeah. Let's do one more before we head out.
Yeah.
Jared said, "Do you think if Carlton comes back, he might be making rookie mistakes, slow mistakes, like Sean Murphy Bunting was?"
It's possible. I mean, there's always a chance for some rust there. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully Sean Murphy Bunting gets better because Carlton's out there, vice versa. And I think Carlton will definitely bring a more calm to the defense and allow them to be, more aggressive going forward.
And but that's the thing. If you've missed that much time, it's going to take time to kind of get your feet underneath you,
Right.
and it's hopefully he doesn't get re-injured trying to get into it too fast.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Jamel Dean can still play. It looks like they got a good diagnosis. It's just gonna be a pain tolerance thing for him. So hopefully you can have all three of those guys on the field and they can rotate and have these guys ready to go as we get closer to postseason.
And one more. Buster said we got to cover those slants.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, slants. Yeah, definitely against the Falcons. They're going to try to throw a lot of quick passes. But if you have Carlton, it allows you to play more press coverage, which these guys like to do. They don't like playing zone. They like to play press man, especially for Sean Murphy Bunting. He's a press man corner. So yeah, I mean it's definitely it all works hand in hand.
And one more funny note. Tom asked, "Do you think Rivas still has something left in the tank?"
I don't know. How old is Rivas? I mean, it wouldn't hurt to sign him. I mean, I wish we didn't cut him those years ago. We should have kept him, but it is what it is.
That contract was still ridiculous.
The good old Mark Dominic trading a first-round pick for him.
They had no leverage. Jets had no leverage.
I know. And we gave him whatever he wanted.
Stupid.
And no wonder he's out of football now.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Rivas, talking about Dominic, but yeah.
Hey, he did draft us, Levante David, that Doug Martin draft too. But
yep.
then he still could have had Kuechly and David in the same draft. He messed up on that one.
He did.
Damn.
Yep. He drafted Gerald McCoy, who was a pretty good Buck and did some good things. He tried. He tried to beef up that defensive line, but it got hurt. But again, that's the past. That's the old Bucs.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
Other than that, guys, thank you for always giving us the good stuff in the chat. You drive the show pretty much, guys. I think you guys always know that. We are very appreciative. We love the action-packed in there. We get to know all of you guys and see what you want to talk about. And Rivas is 36. Rich is all over Google.
He's on it.
Yeah.
I say we sign him. I mean, it wouldn't be bad. Yeah, Albert Hainsworth, don't even mention his name. But guys, I'm laughing, sorry. But with that said, thank you guys so much. Much appreciated. Again, Real Bucs Talk, go check us out. Help support the channel. Give us those likes and subscribes. Check out our film studies. Check out our draft prospects from the past. You'll see we're mostly right on all of them, or at least we try to be. We're going to try to pick up the draft coverage. That's going to be coming soon. I'm going to try to get some more of that out there for you guys as we get closer to the draft. But again, still ways away from that as it's in April. But again, thank you so much. And with that said, go Bucs. And until the next one.
Go Bucs.